Welcome to the mighty blues train. Well, you paint me into a corner, like I nowhere left to run, yeah. Yes, I'm scrambling over rooftops.
Now, let's talk about your name. What a great name. How did that come about?
You're very kind. Well, so I got to spend 10 years in London, living and working over there. Like a lot of Aussies, I guess, I went over for a year to just kind of test the water and see what was out there beyond these fine shores, and found myself in a world of opportunity and just kept rolling with it. So I was there for 10 years, but in 2006 I had a pretty life-changing moment. I broke my neck in a surfing accident, which I don't recommend for health and vitality, just in case anyone out there is considering trying it out for themselves. It was a bit of a life changer, and I did it good and proper. I smashed up C6 and C7 for any people who know what that means, and I lost the use of my left hand for almost a year. And so obviously that was pretty devastating. I'd been a session musician over there for Warner and BBC and a bunch of other stuff over there, and was starting to kind of get the vibe that I wanted to record my own stuff, and I'd done a lot of private stuff demoing, but hadn't really found the means or the will to really want to put it out there yet. So obviously this was a kind of devastating thing. I spent 12 months in a full neck brace and full rehab to get the use of my hand back, but luckily I had some good doctors, and they asked me what I did for with my time, and I said, well, I'm like everybody, I work during the days, but every other minute I'm playing music, guitar or bass or drums or whatever I can get my hands on. And they said, great, that's the thing, that's the physical therapy you're going to use to get your hand back. So, it took about 3 months for me to be able to start to move my hand properly again, and as soon as I could, I was, I had this beautiful national back in my hands and was playing it every day, at first, for just a few minutes, and then gradually more and more. So it took, it took 9 months for me to really get it back, and the last 3 months of that year, I really started to kind of get something going on, and wrote, obviously had a lot of time on my hands, so I wrote the songs that would form the debut EP, which I was very lucky to get to record at Toe Rag Studios in London, which is where the White Stripes recorded Elephant and some of the best analog gear in the world out of Abbey Road. So I was really lucky to get to do that. And so the first night that I got to demo out this material, I had a little, I was kind of a part share in a studio, and I had some friends around, an engineer, and Zeke Manika, who played drums on the debut EP. He's an amazing African drummer, played with Edwin Collins and Paul Weller and a bunch of people back in the day. Anyway, he invited some Radio 1 friends. It was a Saturday night, and so he was, that was party time for those guys, but they wanted to come and sit in on the first demo session for these songs, and it was a pretty social atmosphere, if I could put it like that, for a recording session. And so that was, it was great. And I launched into the first song, which didn't have a title at that point, but it ended up being 242 off the debut EP. And, it was a pretty rockin', raucous blues affair. And the engineer turned around to me and asked me at the end of that song, well, geez, this is going all right. What are you going to call yourself? Because you're going to need to, do this properly. And I was kind of scratching my head. He's going, I think he threw out some throwaway line about, he's, going to be Mr. Blues or whatever. And the Radio 1 people chimed in and said, no, they obviously heard the story about breaking my neck and the whole thing. And they chimed in and said, no, he's not Mr. Blues, he's Mr. Black and Blues. And
there you go.
Yeah, it just seemed to kind of click. Obviously there's a lot of, references to Black and Blues throughout blues history, of course the great Chain song, and it stuck.
Now, talking about that magnificent guitar in your hand, bit of a story behind that too. Obviously, we're on radio, folks, but we are filming it, so we've got visual radio happening here. But Michael has got a national guitar, one of the nicest blues guitars that pretty much everyone wants a vintage national, don't they?
Oh, I think everyone wants their own thing probably, but this is certainly an amazing instrument, and I'm very lucky to have it. It's a 1942 National Trojan, mahogany body, but it's got the steel resonator, so it gives it that bright, sharp sound for the treble sounds. And as I sat down and went to pick up the gold top, I had my back to the window with some kind of Venetian blinds, and the sun was kind of coming through the window over my back, and on my left was a wall covered in guitars. I mean, literally hanging on hooks from floor to ceiling. And as I went to reach for the gold top, something kept catching the corner of my eye, and I kept looking up to the left, like, what is that thing, the bright thing that kept catching the corner of my eye? And eventually I couldn't ignore it. I turned around and had a look, and it was this beautiful guitar. It was the sun kind of just glancing off the silver of the resonator. And so I had to ask, what is that? And I got it down off the wall, and he actually put this in my hands first, and I didn't even, I strummed it once and was sold. I couldn't, I really feel like this instrument chose me.
It was divine intervention. It was calling you.
It was. It definitely was. And it's like reminding me of that Blues Brothers, the famous Blues Brothers line, "They'll never get caught. They're on a mission from God." Well,
yeah.
I felt like just, if the Blues Brothers car has magic powers, I think this guitar has magic powers.
Well, I set my heart to ramble at 19 years of age. Oh, it's a long road home. I was stuck in troubled mind when I turned another page. Oh, it's a long road home. I thought I'd find my fortune far across that sea. Oh, it's a long road home. Yeah, I thought it'd help me figure out who I've got to be. Oh, it's a long road home. I said, oh boy, yeah, Lord, I'm on my road. Yeah, I left my family and my friends, yeah. Isn't that my fortune and my chance? I said, oh, it's a long road home. I said, it's a long road, it's a long road home. It's a long road, it's a long road home. Yeah, it's a long road, it's a long road home. Yeah, it's a long road home. Well, I headed for a big city. Nothing but courage to my name. Oh, it's a long road home. For every two minutes, sharpened up my game. Yeah, it's a long road home. You could call it luck or magic. On my feet, yeah. It's a long road home. There's a band of trash and treasure. Well, we go dump and swing and beat, yeah. It's a long road home. I said, oh, man, get lucky to be sitting on his own. Isn't that my fortune and my gentleman? I said, oh, it's a long road home. Said it's a long road, it's a long road home. Oh, it's a long road, it's a long road home. Said it's a long road, it's a long road home. Yeah, it's a long road, it's a long road. The big city lost her cool. I took back my life and fly. Oh, it's a long road home. A big city was my mistress. Broke my heart when I said goodbye. Yeah, it's a long road home. 10 long years and all I got was courage and my name. It's a long road home. Now I'm back at home. I got my 12-string guitar. Like good people, 3 energy, people. It's a long road home. I said, man, you're crazy. Take away the stream. Got my family and my friends, yeah.
Yeah. Live blues, folks. Doesn't get any better than that. And that's on the Blues Train CD as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We stuck it on there, number 2.